Hi there, it's Elliot. Before we get to the episode, I just wanted to squeeze in a quick mention about the Page Learning Lab, our new online learning program for communications professionals. Page and its members are charting the future of the profession, and the lab gives you access to their thinking, the most progressive thinking out there on topics ranging from comtech and journey communications to culture change, stakeholder capitalism, business skills, and DE&I. It's tailored learning designed to fit into your busy schedule. For more information, check it out at learning.page.org. In the world of executive coaching, there is perhaps no one more well-known, more respected, or more sought after than Marshall Goldsmith. He is the only person to be named the #1 leadership thinker in the world twice at the Thinkers 50 ceremony, and has been named the #1 executive coach for the past 10 years in a row by the same organization. His expertise is more valuable for communications professionals today than ever before. As the problems we face require more empathetic and collaborative solutions, there is a greater need for leaders who can rally people and bring out their best. At the 2022 Page Spring Seminar, Marshall sat down with Charlene Wheeless, former Page chair and CEO of Charlene Wheeless, LLC. Along with invaluable life and family advice, Marshall shared wisdom for leaders as they take the top spot, and explain the behaviors, and often the misbehaviors, that can make or break a team. Now, I have to admit, before this session, I expected a bunch of platitudes about business leadership. What I found so compelling was that his advice was more than anything about how to be a better human, which feels like a key prerequisite to the leading of people. I'm Elliot Mizrahi, and this is the new CCO.
Marshall, thank you so much for being with us this morning. This is such an honor to have you here.
Thank you for inviting me.
Of course. So I am going to just jump right in because I always want to know, what are the top 3 or 4 things that great leaders don't do?
You know, I wrote a book called What Got You Here Won't Get You There.
Very familiar with that.
And Peter Drucker, I was very blessed to be on the board of the Peter Drucker Foundation 10 years. So I got ranked #1 leadership thinker in the world. My brain's compared to him, 10-year-old. This guy was so smart. And he said, we spend a lot of time helping leaders learn what to do. We don't spend enough time helping leaders learn what to stop. So I'll just talk about a couple.
Yes.
Now, I don't like to talk about abstract theories. I like to involve the audience here. So we'll see if they've committed any of these sins. Are you ready? The first thing in my book is called winning too much. Now, what does that mean? If it's important, we want to win. Meaningful, we want to win. Critical, we want to win. Trivial, we want to win. And not worth it, we want to win anyway. Winners love winning. Now, the people in the room are winners. My clients are all mega winners. It's hard for winners not to win. Are you ready for case study number 1? You want to go to dinner at restaurant X. Your husband, wife, friend, or partner wants to go to dinner at restaurant Y. You have a heated argument. You go to restaurant Y. It was not your choice. The food tastes awful, and the service is terrible. Option A, critique the food. Point out our partner was wrong. This mistake could have been avoided if only you'd listened to me. Option B, shut up. Eat the stupid food. Try to enjoy it and have a nice night. What would I do? What should I do? Almost all my clients, what would I do? Critique the food. What should I do? Shut up. How many people in the room, please raise your hands, have ever critiqued the food before? Hands in the air. Yes, a room filled with food critiquers. And now, was that smart or stupid? Stupid. Now, I'm going to give you a second case study. You have a hard day at work, such a hard day, under so much pressure, more, problems. You come home, your husband, wife, friend, or partner is there, and the other person said, I had such a hard day today. I had such a tough day. And if we're not careful, we reply, you had a hard day. You had a hard day. Do you have any idea what I had to put up with today? Do you think you had, I see guilty faces in the room as I'm speaking. We're so competitive, we have to prove we are more miserable than the people that we live with. I gave this example to my class at Dartmouth. A young man raised his hand. He said, I did that last week. I asked him, what happened? He said, my wife looked at me and said, honey, you just think you've had a hard day. It is not over. So number one is winning too much. And number two, adding too much value. That's very hard for smart, successful people not to add value. I'm young, smart, enthusiastic. You're my boss. I come to you with an idea. You think it's a great idea. Rather than just saying great idea, our natural tendency is to say, that's a nice idea. Why don't you add this to it? Well, the problem is the quality of the idea may go up 5%. My commitment to execute just went down 50%. It's not my idea now, boss, it's yours. It's very hard for smart, successful people not to constantly add value. Now, one of my good coaching clients retired a few years ago. J.P. Garnier was the CEO of GlaxoSmithKline. I said, what did you learn about leadership as the CEO of this company? He said, I've learned a very hard lesson. And all of your CEOs need to understand this lesson. He said, my suggestions become orders. My suggestions become orders. Now, he said, if they're smart, they're orders. If they're stupid, they're orders. If I want them to be orders, they are orders. And if I do not want them to be orders, they're orders anyway. For 9 years, I trained the admirals of the United States Navy. What is the first thing I always teach the new admirals? When you get that star, your suggestions become orders. Admirals don't make suggestions. When an admiral makes a suggestion, what's the response? Aye, aye. That suggestion is an order. I asked JP, what did you learn from me when I was your executive coach that helped you the most? He said, you taught me one lesson to help me be a better leader and have a happier life. I said, what was it? He said, before I speak, breathe. Breathe and ask one question. Is it worth it? Is it worth it? And he said, as the CEO of this big company, 50% of the time, if I had the discipline to stop and to breathe and just ask, is it worth it? What did I decide? Am I right? Maybe. Is it worth it? No. So one suggestion I have for all of you as communications professionals is this. Just have that CEO stop and breathe before speaking and just ask, is it worth it? Is it worth it? And that discipline alone can go a long way. So thank you.
Great. Thank you, Marshall. And that was a great lead into my next question. And of course, as communicators, we all know, and we try to get our leaders to know, silence is your friend. Yeah. Right. So thank you. Our next question is, you've started talking about this, but what should leaders be asking themselves now? You know, the world has changed. You've seen a lot change during your time as an executive coach over decades. Right. What questions should leaders be asking themselves now, in your opinion?
Well, I love that question, so I'm going to give you a totally different answer.
Okay, great.
I think one of the questions is, who should leaders be asking a question to? Oh. And the question I would ask is, what can I do to be a better leader? Everyone I coach gets confidential feedback. They all pick important things to improve, and they all stand up in front of everybody and say, I got feedback. Here's what I learned. Here's what we try to do better. Please help me. So I always teach that lead by example. Now, let's do some more fun with the group. Are you ready?
Okay, yep, I'm ready.
My fine communications professionals, are we ready? Yes. In your fine organization, is customer satisfaction important? Yes. More enthusiasm. Is customer satisfaction important? Yes. Should we ask our customers for their good ideas? Yes. Should we listen to our good customers? Yes. Do you have a husband, wife, or partner at home? Yes. Have you spent a lot of time asking that partner, what can I do to be a better partner in our relationship? Well, one of the important things is get in the habit of asking that question, how can I be a better, not only at work, also at home? And it's a question we all understand in theory.
Right.
When it comes to practice, we just don't do it so much.
Thank you. I'm learning here myself. I think my husband would fall over if I went home and said, what can I do to be a better partner? He'd say, I like you.
No, by the way, we don't have to do it here, but in my classes, I have people get out their cell phones and send a text to your partner. And the text is, what can I do to be a better partner in our relationship, with no explanation? The responses are hilarious. And usually from my wife responses are my favorites. Some of my favorites are, who has stolen my husband's cell phone?
Right. Who is this? Right.
Who is it?
Great. I want to talk a little bit about a concept that you have that I think is just fantastic. And we have sheets on the table about it. Feed forward. Talk about feed forward.
I love feed forward. This is a very positive, upbeat way to help yourself and other people get better. And in feed forward, I'm a Buddhist. Buddha said, only do what I teach if it works for you. If it doesn't work for you, it's okay. Just don't do it. Well, feed forward, what I teach people is you ask for ideas for improvement and you listen to people and you say, thank you. And you treat the idea like a gift. So if someone gives you a gift, you don't say stinky gift or bad gift, or I don't like your stupid gift. Say thank you. And I've taught this to almost everyone I work with, and they just love it. Now, one of my good coaching clients just retired recently, Hubert Joly. Hubert Joly did a spectacular job of turning around Best Buy, and is just a poster person for this. He stands up in front of everybody and says, my name is Hubert Joly. I'm the CEO of Best Buy. Please help me. Here's what I want to improve. I have a coach. I've got feedback. Well, what message does that send to everyone in the company? I'm the CEO and I'm trying to get better. Guess what? How about you? And the one thing I try to teach leaders is lead by example, don't lead by talk. If you want other people to get better, let them watch you try to get better. Don't preach at them. Don't preach at them. Let them watch you stand up and try to improve.
Thank you. Yeah, there's something so positive about feed forward and something so negative about feedback because you can't do anything about it.
Can't change the past anyway.
Exactly.
By the way, how many people in the room have been impressed with your husband, wife, or partner's near photographic memory of your previous sins? You can't change it anyway.
Marshall, can I switch gears with you and talk about your book? You have a new book coming out, The Earned Life. Tell us a little bit about the book, why you wrote the book. I know it's about living a life of purpose and fulfillment and no regrets.
Right.
So talk to us about your book.
Yeah, my new book, I talk a lot about life. And it's very, I'm going to just talk about a couple of points from the book. One point is, and when I thought about you, because you're telling me your story of life, one of the parts of the book, I talk about three concepts. One concept of the book is called aspiration. And back to our previous talk with the CEO, that's the higher purpose of what am I here for? I mean, we're doing all this work for what? What's the higher purpose? And our aspiration doesn't have a finish line. It's big and it goes on. The second is our ambitions. And our ambitions relate to achievement. And that does have a goal or a finish line. And then the third is our day-to-day actions. Most human beings in the history of the world have been kind of lost in that day-to-day action phase. You know, they're not bad people. They go through life reacting to what's in front of them. They do what they're told. They go to the movie. They live a life and they die. The people I coach are not like that. The people in this room are not like that. Most people I work with are really, they have the danger of being addicted to achievement. And they're so focused on achievement that they can get lost. They can get lost. They can forget, why am I achieving? Why am I doing this? And they can also forget to enjoy day-to-day life. Half the people I coach are billionaires. And one guy I'm coaching, he's worth $4 billion. So I said, what am I supposed to do? Get you up to $4.1 billion? Who cares? He said, you're right. Who cares? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I just want to have a happier life. So I often, in the book, the part that people relate to most is the part about achievement. And one of the guys that I work with is Safi Bahcall. He wrote a book called Loonshots, one of the most brilliant people I've ever met. And he said, I finally learned that, and he's a scientist, he said, I finally learned that happiness and achievement are independent variables. He used to believe that if I achieved this, I would be happy. Well, how much does he have to achieve? I mean, the guy's already got a PhD in physics from Stanford. He's a genius. He's worth tens of millions of dollars. He's started companies. He's written a New York Times best-selling book. When do you declare victory here? If he hasn't achieved enough to be happy, how much do you have to achieve? And he said, I finally realized that happiness and achievement are independent variables. You can achieve a lot and be happy. And you can achieve a lot and be miserable. You can achieve nothing and be happy, and you can achieve nothing and be miserable. He said, they're both important and they're both different. Well, I think the great Western disease, which we've all been afflicted with, is I will be happy when. When I get the money, status, BMW, condominium, I will be happy when. And the great Western art form, Charlene, is one that I think many people in the room may have seen before. I don't know if you've ever seen it. It starts with a person, and the person is sad. Ooh, and they spend money, and they buy a product, and they become happy. This is called a commercial. Have any of you ever seen one of these before? How many millions of times has that message been hammered in your brain? You will be happy when. That's not life. That's not life. And final story that I love in the book is the marshmallow story. Yeah. Now, are all of you familiar with the marshmallow research? Well, anyway, they take the kid and they give a kid a marshmallow. And they say to the kid, if you eat the marshmallow, you get 1. But if you wait, 2. Now, allegedly, they have this longitudinal research, which I'm a little dubious about, that says the kids that wait for 2 marshmallows all get PhDs from Harvard, and the kids that eat 1 are all drug addicts. So, I think it seemed a little overdone to me. But anyway, the idea behind the book is delayed gratification is good. That's the whole point of the book. What they didn't do is take the kid with 2 marshmallows and said, hey, kid, wait a little bit more, 3. Wait some more, kid, 4. Oh, wait some more, 5, 10, 1,000. Where do you end up? An old man waiting to die in a room surrounded by uneaten marshmallows. Well, sometimes you got to eat the marshmallow. Jack Welch, one of my favorite stories in the book. Jack Welch had triple bypass surgery and he almost died. And my co-author in the book is a friend of his. And he said, Jack, what'd you learn about life when you almost died with this triple bypass? You know what he said? Why am I drinking the damn cheap wine? Jack Welch has his wine cellar filled with really great, expensive wine. Every night he's drinking cheap wine. He's waiting for the wine in the wine cellar to, quote, appreciate in value. This is Jack Welch, right? The guy's worth hundreds of millions of dollars, and he's waiting for the stupid wine to appreciate in value. He said, I'm insane. What was his one commitment? No more cheap wine. No more cheap wine. Well, sometimes it's, you got to eat the marshmallow. And sometimes you got to drink the wine.
Right.
Now, you, I think, are a good role model of this.
Let's hear it for her.
Yay. I think you're a really good role model because to me, you have a higher aspiration.
I do.
You work to achieve things that are consistent with that aspiration and enjoy the process.
Yes, very much so.
That's what the whole book is about.
Oh, well, then I will especially enjoy reading the book, and thank you for that, Marshall, because I really do love what I do, and it's your teachings and being a part of your group has really helped me to get there. So thank you. So we're in April. This is April, January. Everybody's thinking I'm going to do all the things I can to be a better person, right? This year, whatever my list is. By February, the list is down to half.
In March, it's all gone by now.
So right now, it's just completely gone. So you gave us a couple of A's, aspiration, ambition. What about accountability? And you have this practice of daily questions. And I want you to tell people about daily questions, but I also want you to tell them about how long you've been doing it and why.
Well, I'm now going to teach you something that takes 3 minutes a day. 3 minutes a day costs absolutely nothing and will help you get better at almost anything. Many of you are skeptical now. 3 minutes a day costs nothing, help me get better at almost anything. It's ridiculous. It sounds too